From Stillwater Area High School in Oak Park Heights, we present another edition of High School Girls Basketball. Tonight, the Stillwater Ponies begin the 2018 calendar year hoping to end a 9-game winning streak for the visiting Minneapolis South Tigers. The Ponies 1 game under 500, and the Tigers on the cusp of breaking the top 10 in Class 4A. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Peden alongside LaToya Turk. LaToya, this may not be the most coveted matchup of the season when you get Hopkins and Eastview or the Hopkins-Wayzata conference matchups, but you've got 2 players in the top 10 in scoring with this matchup. That means get ready for some offense tonight.
Right, this is going to be a great matchup in the backcourt tonight. We're definitely going to see a lot of offense, and one thing that we know that we have 4 guards on the floor and they all can score.
Minneapolis South, they've got the Hill sisters, Morgan and Jade. Morgan, 3rd in the state in scoring, averaging 29 a game. Very consistent this year. She's added a 3-point shot to her arsenal. Morgan is making this South team fly.
Right, it's going to be a pick your poison type of night. Everyone's going to have to hold their man on defense. This team has met before, and so we'll see what adjustments they've made. And Stillwater has Rachel Holback, so we'll see how she handles the inside for Stillwater tonight.
Stillwater is at full strength. Rachel Hull came back in time for the Cambridge-Isani game, won in a runaway by the Ponies. They're led by Sara Scalia and Alexis Pratt, if you followed our coverage. Scalia got back in the top 10 with another 30-point effort in the Cambridge-Isani win. She's 9th in the state in scoring and 2nd in 3-point field goals, trailing only Morgan Hill. So I think Sarah's hoping to get a comeuppance after losing at South a year ago.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and I'm excited to get the game started.
A battle of the backcourt awaits us. We'll have the starting lineups in a moment. You're watching High School Girls Basketball.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' regular bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And with that, let's go to the starting 5. For the visiting South Tigers, slight change from our last broadcast at Tartan. You'll see Jade Hill, number 4, the freshman guard. Solana Cushing, number 5, the junior guard. Cameron Benjamin, number 11, the freshman guard. Maisie Johnson, number 20, the sophomore forward. And Morgan Hill, number 24, the senior guard. Stillwater back to the regular starting 5. So you'll see Rachel Hull, number 11, the senior post player. Sara Scalia, number 14, the junior guard. Number 15, Alison Benning, she's a freshman forward. 22, Alexis Pratt, the freshman guard. And Liz Ogren, 42, the senior forward.
For South at guard, a 5'9" freshman, number 11, Cameron Benjamin. For the Ponies heading forward, a 5'11" freshman, number 15, Alison Benning. For the Tigers, at forward, a 5'10"
These two teams met a year ago. Minneapolis South won that one handily. The difference in that matchup, no Alexis Pratt, as Willie Taylor remembers vividly. But he said on the flip side, he also had Maddie Whittington. Of course, Maddie out after suffering an injury in volleyball. And for Minneapolis South, this is a chance to go to 10-1 again. Looking at the slate of victories, they won 9 in a row. No victories that would strike fear the way with Roseville beating Centennial, but winning 9 in a row means something, and another non-conference win is something to add to the resume when it comes time to seed the sections.
Right. All of those wins will play a big part when it comes to the seeding process. But going back to your point of not having Alexis Pratt in your lineup last year, that's a great weapon to have for this year.
But South has a couple of good ones. Now, Cameron Benjamin has started the last few games. I spoke with Nate McGuire, Minneapolis South head coach, and he said he just wanted to change things up. He feels the team has been flowing pretty well since slotting Benjamin over Arian Kelly in the starting lineup. You'll see Kelly, though, get plenty of opportunities on her end.
We're coming into conference play. It's always nice to switch up your lineup.
Yeah, and
come
look
with
who's
something
here.
New.
We've got a lot of friendly faces. We've got a lot of friendly faces here. See Woodbury here to scout, Stillwater in the conference, and Crystal Flint and her son is here tonight. Of course, Crystal, a big supporter of Minnesota Prep basketball. Stillwater wearing the home red, South wearing the road white. We're underway here at the stable in Oak Park Heights. And Alison Benning floats it in to get us started. It's going to be interesting to see how Stillwater's chemistry unfolds for the rest of the season now that they got everyone back. Rachel Houle missed several games due to a family vacation. And they also got Taylor Brady back in the game against Tartan. So Stillwater, they've had a couple of weeks to get everyone on the same page in terms of practices. And Willie Taylor has high confidence that Stillwater will put on a stronger showing in January and February with everyone available.
And they got a nice workout against Cambridge Isanti.
Maisie Johnson steals the ball. Morgan Hill comes up short. You noted Willie Taylor hoping to keep Morgan Hill under 20. That's something no team has been able to do so far this season.
And I wonder if South's thinking the same thing about Sara and Alexis, keeping them under 20 points tonight.
Liz Ogren gets the friendly bounce,
which could be equally as difficult.
Jade Hill knocks down the three.
And that's one way to pull the team out of the zone. Those outside long-range shots.
We talked about Morgan Hill being one of the three-point threats this season. Jade shooting 50% from three-point range, and we have free throws coming for Alexis Pratt.
Also the Tigers number 4, Jade.
Alexis had 22 in the win over Cambridge Isanti.
Alexis Pratt
shooting 44% from the floor, 64% free throw shooter. And I jinxed her, didn't I?
She's tough. She'll bounce back.
And I'm curious to see how she bounces back, too. We were on hand at the Tartan game. She got hit with a technical in the second half. Well, not something you want out of any of your starters, but she seems to have recovered.
Right.
And stats are an indication.
And this matchup between Jade and Alexis is going to be great to watch over the next 4 years.
And Jade Hill, I think she wants to start a bakery. You know why?
Why?
That was a sweet roll.
One for you, Mike. One for you tonight.
Me, one, LaToya, well, we've got a long way to go. She'll find a way to run up the score. Benning, bullseye. Well, for all this talk about Pratt and Scalia and the Hill sisters, Alison Benning is off to a quick 5.
Well, Stillwater's going to have to watch that back door. Morgan is excellent at cutting back door.
Morgan, deep three, no good. Benjamin blocked from behind by Benning. Stillwater looking to push. Pratt collides with Jade Hill, and she draws the foul.
And that's 2 quick fouls on her.
Fouls on number 4, Jade Hill. Her second.
And Nate, we'll see if he goes to his bench. Not yet, but Jade's going to have to be careful. Pratt thought about a 3, couldn't get by Benjamin. She'll go inside to Hool. Used to pivot, or used up the dribble, and Stillwater can't save it. "15 minutes to go, 8-5 to score, and Stillwater going to get
Number 45,
Taylor Brady on the floor.
And that's a gutsy move by the coach at South to keep Jade in. I guess we're on offense now, so.
He has yet to go to the bench, and Minneapolis South not too deep. Solana Cushing misses the corner 3. You've got Arian Kelly, who can give you some scoring off the bench, but not a lot behind that. So it could be out of necessity.
Right.
That being said, I'm sure Stillwater well aware of this. Morgan Hill, 15-footer, got it.
Morgan Hill.
Morgan Hill on the board. Pratt weaves through traffic and is fouled. Now, who's it going to be on? It's on Cameron Benjamin.
Woo.
Alexis Pratt.
So more free throws coming for Alexis Pratt. 7 20-point games this season for the freshman. Last year at North St. Paul, she had 6. And that was being pretty much the entire offense at North St. Paul a year ago.
I don't think we'll have any shortage of 20-point games for Alexis Pratt.
Well, and as we've said a couple of times before, Alexis has support she never would have had in North St. Paul, at least not this season. Benjamin for 3. That's off the mark. Pratt will scoop it up. And she loses control.
She's so excited. I can see it
A
in her
little too
face.
fast. South going in transition. It's Arian Kelly with the finish. And they're still keeping Jade Hill in there. Well, this is going to be a test of courage for the freshman. Sara Scalia knocks down the 3. That puts her within 2 of the lead held by Morgan Hill for the state race in that category.
And it sounded like the entire South fan club started screaming, "Shoot her!" when Sara got the ball.
Like we said, Sara would love to pick up a win here after dropping this game a year ago. Jade Hill misses the 3-pointer. Arian Kelly wins the battle for the rebound, can't hit the turnaround, and Benning comes up with it. 13-9 to score.
Oh!
Deep 3, a little too deep. I tell you, Steph Curry wins a couple of titles and everybody wants to be like him now. Except Demaya. Demaya's smart, right? Jade
Demaya
Hill
plays
fakes
for...
the 3, drives, can't hit the runner. Her sister's there for the O-board, and 1.
Nice. It's really nice when you have a player who can shoot the 3, attack the basket, and rebound.
I told Willie Taylor, and I don't scout, of course, for anybody, but coaches know I do my research, and so when I told them Morgan Hill was leading the state in 3-point field goals, he's going, "What, are you kidding me? She'll be impossible to stop." She already is impossible to stop.
Right.
Morgan Hill, 92% free throw shooter.
That's what you love to hear as a coach.
And you don't get that a lot. We were talking yesterday about how a lot of teams, especially from the city, don't emphasize the fundamentals in that aspect. So when you get somebody like Morgan Hill, I hope everyone else is taking notes.
Right.
Rachel Holt, 3 goes in and out. Because as we've said a couple of times, you never know when you'll need those free throws. Cushing for 3. Swish.
And this team really can shoot. The South team, they can really shoot.
South has scored the last 6. They lead by 2. Pratt looking to end that run too far underneath. Kelly comes up with it. Grace Coate is on the floor for the Ponies. Jade Hill for the fast break bucket. And
the fundamentals of stop the drives, pick up the ball. Who's going to stop the dribbler coming up the floor?
And it's a big show of confidence from Nate McGuire that Jade Hill's still on the floor with those 2 fouls. He's going to trust the freshman. Scalia to Code for 3. Off the rim, offensive rebound Pratt. The dish to Code, she'll try again. This time it's pure.
And that shows great discipline from a freshman, but as noted, she comes from a basketball family.
The Hills, oh yes. PJ went to North, had a fine career at Ohio State. Arian Kelly, that's your sweet spot, the baseline J. Taylor, well, I wonder where she ended up. Do you have any ideas?
Not a clue.
I heard she went to Washington.
Somewhere out there.
Much like those crooked trees that Bob Ross would paint. Jade Hill on the fast break play.
Someone's got to stop the ball.
Well, Jade Hill might be painting some happy little trees. She's off to a 9-point start. And don't ask me how I managed to weave Bob Ross into this. Stillwater throws it away.
Take care of the ball. Get back on defense, Stillwater.
But I was speaking with Nate McGuire about the Hill sisters, and he said Jade Hill's development and maturity has been impressive. As a 7th or 8th grader, she would sometimes defer to her older sister, and Nate often told her, you're just as good as she is. Don't be afraid to go after it.
I bet you that makes for friendly competition in the house.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I think Cody wants to get in on the act as well. She knocks down the 3 to make it 21-19. I'm sure with the Hill family, with PJ and Tanisha, the eldest, Taylor, Morgan, Jade, we've got Angel. She'll be able to play for the team next year. I'm sure they've all competed with each other.
Right. I wonder what they talk about at dinner.
Curling.
Transformers?
Transformers. They talk about Transformers and curling.
And here she comes again.
And there she goes again. Jade Hill with 11. 23-19 to score. Pratt draws contact. Foul before the shot. No, they're going to call her for the elbow.
Well,
wow.
We'll need to see the replay on that.
I know at least one person who disagrees with that call.
2, I think Willie Taylor, too.
That's true.
Three.
We're just going to count one by one. What do you think, DeMaio? It's like, she's not wading into that one. Maisie Johnson misses the runner, gets her own miss. Benjamin out to Kelly. Spin move. Can't bank it off the window. Stays after it. Well, nice try.
The South Tigers came to play tonight.
The South Titans?
Tigers.
I thought you said Titans for a minute.
Tigers.
You did say Tigers. Okay,
Yes.
I am not hallucinating. But give it time. I'll turn paranoid eventually. High scoring start, though, to this one. Poole for 3. Jump ball south of the arrow. That was a low arcing shot on the part of Poole. You don't see too many players like that, or at least with that kind of arc, because I know in basketball they often tell you to go up, go for the rainbow. And reminds me of Simone Augustus.
Yes.
Or Kellen Knoll at Eastridge from a year ago. Inside play to Morgan Hill, too far underneath.
I think there was a little contact there.
We play on.
Yes, we do.
Stillwater trails by 4. Sara Scalia, 15-footer, swish.
That seems to be a nice sweet spot for Sara right there. She can get you one step behind her.
Scalia up to 5, but this is a good sign. Even though Stillwater's trailing, they're getting some help from a couple of their role players. And Nate McGuire's going to call a timeout. South was facing a 10-second call otherwise. But Grace Cody with a couple of threes. You know, Pratt has yet to hit a field goal. It's only a matter of time, but you're seeing some wealth distribution in terms of offensive output for Stillwater, and that's a good sign.
Right. We have multiple players on the floor who can score. That's always a nice attribute to your team.
As Willie noted, sometimes Pratt and Scalia are light years ahead of their teammates. And he's supportive of everybody, and there were a couple of Stillwater alumni that are paying a visit, and they said hello. So, you know, Willie, he'll find something good to say about everyone he's coached, whether at Central, if we go way back at Mounds View, or here at Stillwater. But
yeah, Willie's a very reputable coach.
He would like a third score. This is where several times we've talked about how he'd love to have Matty Whittington. That'll have to wait until next year. But he'd like to find a reliable third scorer on that Stillwater team.
One thing about Willie, he does a great job in the offseason. So we'll see what he comes back with next season.
Traveling violation on the Tigers. Now, he and the athletic director, Ricky Michael at Stillwater, are going to be in a week-long rivalry of sorts. Willie grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, so you can imagine which college football team he roots for. Scalia drives and misses. Michael Pratt with the O board. I'll finish that story in a minute. Jade Hill, Cushing will take it herself. So to finish up that story, Ricky Michael spent a couple of years in Georgia, so he's pulling for the Georgia Bulldogs. So this Georgia-Alabama college football championship might wedge the two, at least until next Monday.
I wonder how many points South has scored on transition offense. They're not really even having to set up their offense here.
Jade Hill responsible for many of them. Trying to go up on Pratt. The Hill sisters get tangled up, and that just sets it up for Cushing, who knocks down the three. That was probably by design, wasn't it? I think the Hill sisters intentionally meant to run into each other to leave Cushing open, just as they drew up.
It worked.
That's what matters. It worked. Pratt got it. I don't think that's what she wanted, but everything's going in right now. Take advantage of it.
Right.
28-23. Pratt with the first field goal. Cushing to Johnson. Morgan Hill, turnaround, off the heel. Benjamin gets the O board. Jade Hill fakes the three, weaves through traffic, and banks it in.
Finds that open spot.
Jade Hill with 13. Her season high is 26, so she's halfway there. And Solana Cushing got a little too grabby.
And she had her. We call that a bailout. She had her. She picked up her dribble. She just needed to hold, and at that point you tell the rest of your team, everyone lock up on defense and get that 5-second call.
And you were right. Pratt was vulnerable, and Cushing bailed her out with a foul. But it happens to the best of us. Poole out to Liz Ogren. Pratt finds Hoole. Ogren, long two. She gets the friendly bounce. But notice how South is making it difficult for Stillwater to penetrate inside.
Right.
30-25, 5:50 left in the first half. This is a first half score in most cases. But with these two, the tempo picks up a little bit. Cushing used up the dribble.
I didn't know if he was going to call that or not, but he saw it.
And that will be the second foul charged to Cushing.
Maybe she was just giving her a high five. That's what that was. She was just giving a high five to Alexis. That's
Even
all.
Demaya's wondering where you came up with that one.
These are all the sneaky things that coaches teach their players. The holding.
Pratt for three. Yes.
And we saw her hit that shot a few times at the Tartan game.
She shoots about 32% from three-point range, so she can knock him down. Kelly goes up, short. Poole with the board. Scalia. Is she going to take it herself? No, she'll kick out to Ogren. And she comes up short on the baseline J. South in transition again. It's Cameron Benjamin with the finish. And Benjamin gets on the board.
This jogging up and down the floor is killing Stillwater on defense.
And Morgan and Jade are used to it. Stillwater, maybe not so much, especially in the Suburban East. You don't have a lot of up-tempo teams outside of Cretan in that conference. Pratt, another three. That stays in play.
Great
Jade
box
Hill with the
out.
rebound.
And once again, this weak side is still open.
And Hill walked before she dribbled.
And even with that turnover, they still had open shooters on the perimeter. No one was covering them. Stillwater's got to make that adjustment.
Scalia, spin move, fires off the heel. Jade Hill draws the foul on Houle before the shot. Stillwater had several to give. In terms of scheduling, South may not get that quality test that maybe some fans will be looking for until the end of the season when they go on the road to play Robbinsdale, Cooper, and Wayzata in February. Both top 10 teams. Wayzata will probably might move up into the number 2 spot after Eastview knocked off Hopkins. They're still undefeated. And Robbinsdale, Cooper, the number 1 team in 3A, their only losses are against 4A teams. Nice inbound play for Kelly, but she whiffed it. Maisie Johnson is there for the recovery. So Johnson scores there. Cooper's 2 losses, if you're wondering, are Hopkins and Centennial.
Nice move, Alexis.
A little strong there. And South, well, they are able to save it. And they end up turning it over. While Centennial did beat Robbinsdale Cooper, the next night, some team that I've heard of beat them in overtime. Some team, Centennial lost to somebody in overtime. I forgot who.
Yeah, it was those Roseville Raiders.
So the Raiders able to win their own holiday tournament.
And the crowd cheers.
Foul on the Tigers. I believe it will be on Kelly. It is. That's her first. Stillwater, or I should say South, out of fouls to give here with 3:04 left in the first. Scoring has slowed down a bit after a furious start.
And Morgan's making it very hard for Houle down in that paint.
South doesn't have height, but they have plenty of speed thanks to the Hill sisters. Alison Benning rattles in the tray. And they are going to make Stillwater beat you from the outside, although we've seen a lot of role players step up. Benning and Cody. Jade Hill weaving through traffic. Oh, that would have been a beauty if it went in. But Kelly is there. She'll shoot 2. The foul will go against Allison, her first. Arian Kelly, 6 of 9 from the free throw line this season, but she's shooting 47%. Great mid-range shooter. If you followed our coverage before, she was an opponent when Morgan Hill scored her 1,000th career point. Kelly was at Washburn at the time.
Right.
Let's just say she was happy to be alongside her when Morgan got to 2,000 this year. And she will jokingly call Morgan the Orange Mamba to make her mad. Because Morgan is not one for attention, and most of the Hill sisters aren't.
Right.
Taylor very modest, Morgan pretty modest. But Morgan a big fan of Kobe Bryant, hence Orange Mamba. Scalia passes out to Pratt. Goes up through the hole. That was deflected, so she can recover it.
Come on,
Maisie
sprint.
Johnson with the tip. Hesitation, got it. That was a veteran move there by Johnson. And she's just a sophomore. Scalia out to Ogren. Swish.
And the role players for Stillwater are really stepping up for them, knocking their shots down.
And Stillwater needs every bit of it. Scalia and Pratt have been contained thus far. Stillwater with the arrow. 1:20 left. 38-33 the score. Stillwater looking to make it 10 straight wins. I should say South looking to make it 10 straight wins. Stillwater hoping to get back to 500. Stillwater will resume conference play on Friday when they visit Eastridge. Scalia to Hool. Oh, that could have been.
And here we
foul
go
on
again.
Hool. Well, Pratt was able to get in there just in time to stop the drive. Scalia.
With the dance.
So Scalia will shoot two. She's an 83% free throw shooter. Now, over the holidays, one present that Scalia received was a throwback Harvey Catchings Milwaukee Bucks jersey, which she shared on Twitter. It got the attention of Harvey's daughter, Tamika, and everyone had a little fun with it. When I told Willie about that moment, his response, that Sara doesn't know who Harvey Catchings is, but her dad, Sarah's dad, played Division I basketball in Louisiana. The family's grown up on hoops. I'm pretty sure Sara figured out who Harvey was.
Definitely know the kids who are from basketball families because they know some of the older players.
I was surprised at throwback Harvey Catchings jersey. And there probably are some longtime fans that wouldn't remember him because of what his daughter was able to do. Tamika winning a WNBA championship and being one of the sentimental favorites in the WNBA. There was a time when there was an elder Catchings who was doing what Tamika did for all those years. Scalia knocked down both free throws, so it's a three-point game, and it looks like they will hold for the final shot.
So now you want to make sure you don't get a turnover. Keep your spacing good.
Exactly. Five-second violation. That could have gone against Kelly.
Yeah.
There was contact between the two. That could have been a call against Kelly, but South catches a break. They have 7 seconds to make something of it. Kelly calling for it.
I thought she got away with the little footwork there.
Morgan Hill didn't get that off in time. (38-35) the score at halftime. A quick first half, but if you're Stillwater, even though you're trailing, you got a lot of support out of your role players. I'd say that has to leave you feeling pretty good about your prospects in the second half because you can only imagine Scalia and Pratt will find a way to get involved.
And you and I both have seen them have not favorable first halves and come out in the second half and just really light the court up. So we'll see what the locker room conversation does for them.
And for South?
Got to keep her under 20, right? Where are we at now?
Well, Morgan has 5, but it's Jade Hill who had the strong first half.
Yeah. So I guess they're doing their job for Morgan, but they forgot about Jade. They need to just run the floor. South is getting way too many points on their transition offense. Stillwater has to get back on defense a little sooner.
So we'll take a break, and do a little flashback to last year's matchup between these two teams, and then we'll find out who wins the 2018 edition. You're watching high school girls basketball. The Tigers lead the Ponies 38-35.
It'll be very interesting to see what this Lockett has to offer.
There's Scalia with the steal and the fast break layup. Scalia, the team's leading scorer. They did match their win total from last year as Patterson nails the three.
That's a nice shot.
Especially in transition. Patterson gets a friendly bounce. Claire Patterson's up to 5. Another 3. Bullseye.
Wow.
That's Megan Lampright. Morgan, you see the Stillwater defense collapsing. Cushing fires the deep 3 and rolls it in. A missed opportunity for the Tigers. Patterson racing down for the Ponies, finds Whittington, got it. She still has 2.5 seasons to go. Lockett takes the 3, bullseye.
Jade's got to be getting up there with rebounds. Oh, good. Nice dump off.
Fake, and Cushing with the finish. But you can't do anything sloppy.
You knew that
here.
was coming. You knew that was coming.
5'1". And North has another.
Jade with another rebound.
Jade has been all over the boards
With the
tonight.
Euro. Nobody home.
Look who's there for the cleanup.
Morgan's probably got an easy 20 points here.
And sometimes, as Lampright scores, it's a long-term building project. But South wins the day here, 68-57 the final, off 28 for Morgan Hill. And we're back at the stable in Oak Park Heights. Mike Peden and LaToya Turk with you. Minneapolis South leads Stillwater 38-35 as we get ready to start the second half. First half numbers, Jade Hill, 13 points, played with 2 fouls for most of the first half. Nate McGuire showing confidence in the freshman, and Jade Hill delivered. Solana Cushing with 8, Arian Kelly with 6. For Stillwater, Alison Benning and Alexis Pratt have 8 points. Sara Scalia has 7. So for all the talk we made in the open about the Hill sisters and Pratt and Scalia, we're seeing a lot of support from the role players on both sides.
Right, and that takes a little bit of pressure off of the 4 that we were here to watch. It's a good feeling knowing that if you can't get your shot off, you have teammates that can.
And it's a reminder from those players that, hey, we can ball too.
Yep, absolutely.
So we'll see what happens, though, in the second half. If Morgan will get going. And the same with Alexis Pratt and Scalia. Morgan, she has scored 24 or more in every game this season, so that streak may come to an end tonight. We'll see what happens, though, in the next 18 minutes. Poole for 3. That's short. Look at Jade Hill turn on the accelerator.
And you want to capitalize on those steals for Stillwater. You know, they had a great steal down here. You want to come down, take a good shot, put some points on the board.
Now, I saw you were catching up a bit with a couple of Woodbury's players, Rachel Hakes, I believe, and is it Carly West or who's the other one?
Don't recall her name. My apologies.
Well, you'll know when Roseville and Woodbury meet up again.
Yes, that's what Hicks told me. I watched them play this past weekend in the tournament at Roseville.
Morgan Hill drives too high off the window. Now Stillwater looking to go on the run. Sara Scalia will do just that. Sara Scalia, 4 30-point games this year. She had 2 last year. That tells you how much she has grown in her junior season. Maisie Johnson swishes the baseline J.
Johnson, start.
Pratt out to Cody. Now Pratt has it again. Notice how they collapse, and this time Pratt finds Houle for the score.
Smart play by the freshman.
So South collapsing on Pratt. I imagine Pratt a focal point in their scouting, and Alexis recognized the open player. Alexis doesn't dish out too much. Sara Scalia leads the team in assists, but hey, you'll take it. Because an assist is just as good as a basket in terms of offense.
Correct.
Well, thank you for agreeing with me.
I usually do.
South turning it over. So the Ponies have a chance to take the lead. They almost throw it away. Coat and one. Grace Cody turns a busted play into a pair.
Way to hold on to the ball there underneath the basket for Stillwater.
Also 24, Morgan Hill.
Grace Cody
scoring. She'll shoot one shot.
already with a season high. Coming into this game, she had scored just 20 points. Her prior season high was 5. She's going to best that mark by a few this time. Jade out to Cushing. Stillwater does hold the lead now, 42-40. Cameron Benjamin, 3 ball. Can't nip in the corner. Last touch by Stillwater. Jade out to Cushing. Now Jade has it again. Morgan Hill.
That was a nice, strong drive there by Morgan.
You wonder if Stillwater's defense is getting to her a bit. Scalia missed the 3. Sister to sister. Morgan can't hit the 3. Jade Hill comes up with the rebound, though. Cushing will try it. Bullseye.
Cushing, 4-3.
Remember our scouting report from the Open? Just throw it out the window here.
Right.
Cushing knocks down her 3rd tray.
Well, I think we knew coming into this game there were going to be some long-range shots. We just had who was going to be shooting them wrong.
Kelly maybe got away with another push on
Someone's
Houle.
got to step up.
Jade Hill weaving through, and she scores another fast break bucket. And just like that, South retakes the lead. They're up by 3. Willie Taylor calling a timeout. Didn't like what he saw there. 14:08 left in the second.
And the coach and me would be having a conversation with my 2 top players at this point. We need the ball in your hand. We need you to come and get the ball. And I can hear him over there saying, you know, come get the ball, come get the ball.
I'm trying to figure out what Abe was referencing. Abe has music in his head. And so I found out why Crystal and her son made the trek out here. It's because North and South play each other next week.
Yes.
So Crystal doing a little bit of scouting, and that North-South series often decides who wins the Minneapolis City Conference. It's been a rivalry owned by South for the last few years. But let's see if Pratt and Scalia step up. Because while you're getting a lot of support from folks like Cody, it may be go time for your big name players. Again, they are making it difficult for Scalia to get inside.
And with those guards up top for South, this defense where they're doubling on the top, you would think that there would be a reverse the ball and have some open shooters on the opposite side, but it's just not happening for Stillwater.
And Scalia coming off a 35-point effort in the win over Cambridge Isani. Morgan Hill scored 30 in the win over Roosevelt. Cameron Benjamin has a chance at 3.
And Cameron played with Morgan and Jade on the Taylor Hill Elite team over the summer, so as a freshman, she's doing pretty well.
You wonder if so much attention was emphasized on the Hill sisters for South and Scalia and Pratt for Stillwater that all these other players are finding openings as a result. Because I have a feeling, and just about any casual observer would say, okay, if you want to win this game, stop the Hill sisters. If you want to win this game, stop Scalia and Pratt. And everyone else saying, all right.
What about me?
Yes. And if nothing else, this game could be a wake-up call in that regard as Alexis Pratt draws the foul. Now, although Jade has been getting her points, but everyone else, I think this could be a statement saying, you know, we can contribute too.
Right.
I don't think that was their mindset going in, but you have to admire the performance. Oh, Cody had an opening and didn't recognize it. Still diving for the ball. Wins it, but not in a good position there. Jade Hill goes warp speed again.
Who can stop her? How many right-hand layups has she done? Are you counting those?
About as many as Taylor would make at a high school game, it seems. Pratt. And that's a sign of South's interior defense. Pratt just taking maybe a desperation 3 there.
Right.
Kelly. Ooh. I thought she was going to go for it.
I thought she was going to float that too.
Maybe a little too fancy there.
She saw her player cutting, so mid-air change.
That's usually not a good idea.
No.
Cody, 3 ball. That's going to be short. Morgan Hill comes up with it. She finds Solana Cushing. Right idea, just didn't get it in. Rebound, tips to Scalia. She'll line up the 3, bullseye.
Nice, and Stillwater needed that. Sara needed that too. See if that gets her going here.
Fortuitous bounce in Scalia's direction. Jade Hill says, I can go left too.
And there you go.
19 points for Jade Hill.
19 easy points too.
Even DeMaya knows they're all layups. Kelly fouls Cody. No, DeMaya's on point. I think we got to have DeMaya give her a microphone one of these days. So Cody back to the line. She had just 2 attempts entering this game. Stillwater looking ahead. East Ridge should be a winnable game. White Bear Lake is always tough because they're well coached, much like Roseville and a lot of Suburban East teams are. And then they'll go on a road trip, Mounds View and Cretin-Durham Hall.
It'll be tough games.
Well, Mounds View,
Well, Cretin.
there, yes. Well, Mounds View, they can go either way. Cretin-Durham Hall, you know that's going to be a track meet. And so having a game like Minneapolis South can help Stillwater get a taste of what Cretin-Durham Hall is going to bring.
Right.
Although they lost to Champlain Park at the Park Center Invitational, so nobody's vulnerable or invincible. And even Hopkins,
Correct.
jump ball south of the arrow. Even Hopkins fell to Eastview. Granted, it's a regular season game, but you know, everyone assumes Hopkins is going to run through the table every year. And Eastview reminding folks that they can be just as good. 4A, I think, is going to be much more dramatic than folks give that class credit for.
Correct.
Because even in section, Hopkins will have to go through Wyzetta most likely. Roseville, let's just say Section 5, as always, is going to be a dogfight. And after Roseville knocked off Centennial, those two in Section 5. Park Center having a solid year. Champlain Park with those 2 big wins. That 5-4A bracket.
Good basketball. It's going to be good basketball.
Alexis Pratt nails the 3.
I'm impressed at the fact that South has 6 players. And they're playing the majority of the game. These 5 girls that are out now.
Stillwater with a little more depth at their helm. And you're right, South playing basically 6 players. You'll see Maya Varianchik on occasion. Morgan Hill to the line. And she's been awfully quiet. Hasn't found her stroke from the floor.
But we can almost guarantee the stroke from the free throw line for Morgan.
Exactly. And entering this game, she was 55% behind the arc.
Impressive.
Now, well, and there's always going to be variation every night. But everyone knew Morgan Hill was good. But adding the 3-point shot, it's not surprising to see her get so many 30-point games.
And when you can get to the line and shoot over 90%, you can guarantee yourself a few points from there too.
Jump ball, ponies with the arrow. Exactly. Well, going back to the infamous Matamida Como game. Yokomo left a lot of points at the line. Matamida was able to pull away. When Stillwater beat Como Park, they were able to get to the line. Sara Scalia. Oh my goodness! Just like I told you, Steph Curry wins a couple of titles, everybody wants to be like him. And she can knock down deep threes like that, so that's not a fluke. Jade Hill. I guess she can get runners too.
Yes.
South calls a timeout though, because I think even with Jade Hill making that basket, Nate McGuire sensing that Pratt and Scalia are warming up. 55-52.
If we can just get their defense to match their offensive strategy, they might be able to make a little run here.
Demaya, that's going to be you one day, right? Knocking down deep threes? She's going to get it in the gym, she says. And while you're at it, explain to your mother what the difference between Power Rangers and Transformers is.
No, it is. It's
Okay.
still on the scoreboard. You just heard me say this because it's not.
9:28 left.
And it's just that simple.
No, it's fine. I understand.
Yeah, so what do you think is going to come down here? With South, do you sense Stillwater might be making a push here? And if you're the Tigers, how do you get Morgan Hill going? Because if Stillwater's getting their big names more productive, that's going to put a little more pressure, I think, on Morgan to step up the scoring.
I think to get Morgan started, we just need to run her off some picks. She doesn't need a lot of space or a lot of room to score. So set her a couple of good picks. And same for Pratt and Scalia. Keep moving. Make this defense move. Keep moving. Watch your spacing.
Poole couldn't handle the pass, and it goes into the hands of Benjamin. South sees a lane. Pratt gets in the way and gets it off of South. So Pratt got the deflection. The ball brushed Morgan Hill, and Stillwater catches a break. And remember, Stillwater at full strength. They didn't have that at the start of the year, with Taylor Brady recovering from injury and Rachel Houle missing games with vacation. That Stillwater Tartan game, they were down 2 key players. Pratt, she knocks down a long 3.
They're making Curry proud tonight.
If there's ever is a 4-point line in basketball, God help us all.
We know a few players who'd be gunning for it every night.
It'd be just like those Rock and Jock B-Ball Jam days at MTV. Remember those scoring pods?
Yes.
That would get you 10 or 20 points. Everybody would fire away. Cushing, 3-ball, corner pocket.
Got to know where your shooters are.
And Scalia, as it stands right now, she has 3 triples, so she has tied Morgan for the state lead in that category. Morgan has yet to make a 3-pointer. And Cushing up to 14. I was on hand to see her get a season high against Tartan when she put down 18. Scalia short on the runner. You may see her best that mark here. Morgan Hill turns on the Jets. Too strong. Benjamin comes up with it. And she was fouled by Benning.
Fouls on the ponies, number 15, Alison Benning. Her second.
Got to watch for that cut through the middle and the 3-point shooter.
Pratt fouled from behind by Benjamin. And that's going to be the 4th on the freshman. And again, South just with sticking with a 6-player rotation tonight. Okay, that was the 3rd on Benjamin. Thought it was her 4th, but in either case, Nate McGuire's going to have to watch for that.
And I can hear Willie saying pass and cut, and that's what I'm saying. Make this defense move. Shift the defense. Especially with them only having 6 players. You just keep them moving. You'll tire them out. Get to the free throw line.
Oh, the Hill sisters double team Pratt. That's usually not a good scenario, and Morgan Hill will shoot free throws. Alison Benning thought that was a clean block. Well, from up here, I can't tell.
And fundamentally, we've taught that you can't dribble through a zone.
And on the other end, Benning's going up for the block, but whether or not you make contact when the player swings down,
yep,
more often than not, you're going to get called
automatic.
But it's so tough to do. But South hanging on to this lead. And Morgan Hill getting it done from the free throw line. She's hit all 5 there. But having trouble converting from the floor. Scalia tries the dribble drive. Can't bank it off the window. Tries again, gets the bounce. Benning with the O board. Scalia up to 17.
We don't mind you taking shots and missing if you get your own rebound and put it back up.
Second chance points, always critical. Cushing, 3-ball, corner pocket. Cushing with 5 triples. I'm not sure I did my scouting correctly in this one.
Well, coming into the game, we knew she could shoot, and I don't think Stillwater did their scouting because they're leaving her way too open.
And Cushing, well, maybe this is why. Morgan Hill 55%, Cushing 32% from 3-point range. Maybe you take the numbers a little too closely, but
right.
Benning takes the feed from Pratt and converts the spin move. And Alison Benning with a season high.
I'd like to see Stillwater turn up the defensive pressure a little bit here. They got to move their feet, though.
Well, Poole is able to do that, but Jade Hill gets her own miss.
Where's the help on that pick there?
5:05 to go. Morgan Hill tried to work off the screen. And Arian Kelly couldn't handle the pass. Easy transition bucket from Scalia to Hoole. Although
I thought that was going to roll out.
It did not. Hoole might be sending a thank you card to the rim. Scalia gets the dime there. And a traveling violation on Benjamin. Could this be the Stillwater surge we were waiting for?
And you see two very different styles of offense on the floor. Stillwater, our offensive set, running through their set. South, they're attacking the basket.
Pratt goes up, no good. Ball is loose, it's going to be picked up by the Tigers. Just over 4 minutes to play. Cameron Benjamin left alone, bullseye. Not a good idea. But
Can't
again,
leave
it goes
anyone
back-
open.
Not tonight, but it goes back to the scouting report. You're maybe not thinking about Benjamin and Cushing the same way you do the Hill sisters, and so Willie said keep Morgan under 20. That's going to work out, but everyone else for South has stepped up tonight. Scalia with the answer. Won't get it, and that goes over the backboard. And you notice the set plays. Stillwater's still having trouble working their way inside.
Shift the defense. South is in a zone. Shift the defense.
And DeMaio over here is saying if Stillwater wants to win, they've got to attack. Try to draw some fouls.
Just pick it up defensively as well.
And Nate McGuire will call a timeout. South at 3 remaining. Benjamin has 3 fouls. Jade Hill has 3 fouls. So,
And I think with 3:25 left in the game, that's not even going to be a factor.
no. Well, in the game again, moving pretty quickly, and with Stillwater playing more of that set offense, you're not able to get inside. So, right, it's harder to draw fouls. And it's one of those situations, well, the Lynx are one example. When you have a team that has a lot of great jump shooters, on the flip side, if you don't have folks that can attack, and we've seen Sara
Right.
and Alexis go to the lane,
Right.
but like you said earlier, it's hard to dribble through a zone.
Right.
But you can't, you're less likely to draw a foul taking a 15-footer versus
Right.
going up for a layup.
Right. Pull the defense out of that zone. Spread your offense. Catch the ball a little higher, a little deeper. That way you can get your post players moving in the paint and they have a little more room to navigate. But if everyone is inside of the three-point line, it's crowded. It allows the zone to be able to be a zone.
Well, one thing's for sure, Morgan Hill's going to drop a spot or two in the state scoring race, most likely, with just 9. And
That'll be temporary coming into this
Right.
conference play.
they have a lot of, well, they played 3 conference opponents already. South will actually take a week and a half off, and Stillwater's going to call a timeout, just like we saw in the Tartan game. Alternating timeouts. So the Tigers are off until they play Minneapolis North, and that game usually is pretty close. But as you noted, most of the conference opponents aren't able to keep up with South, even with some of the schools merging this year, like Fair and Heritage.
Right.
But Washburn and Henry don't have a lot going for them. Roosevelt, so South will have a chance to pad those numbers back up. But this is the kind of game that can be a defining point in your season.
Correct.
Stillwater, they've been under 500 the last couple of years. Willie Taylor would like to change that, and he's following his players out there.
Yeah. But they have a tougher conference.
Right. Tougher conference, and Stillwater doesn't have a lot of history here
Right.
in girls basketball.
That'll change as well.
Well, and it says a lot about the history or lack thereof when Sara Scalia set the school scoring record already in her junior season. It was 1,200 points, and Stillwater, they've been around for over 100 years.
You got to pay attention.
Stillwater able to get the deflection, though. That allowed Benjamin to be blocked. And then Scalia throws it
Got to
right
get
into the
back,
hands of
Stillwater.
Cushing.
Got to get back. Don't force it, ladies.
3 minutes to go.
Stillwater's got to watch this weak side.
Jade Hill comes up
Get
short
it
on
to
the
your
drive.
guard.
Let's see what the ponies do. Scalia going. Didn't have a lane, or comes up with it and scores anyway. Willie Taylor calls another timeout.
We're okay with you taking the shot and you miss as long as you get your rebound and make it.
DeMaio was right. It was a little unconventional in how they got it, but Scalia puts it in, and that's what matters. She's up to 19, so Sara will be at roughly around her average or a little under. She's averaging 25, but like we said, the sky's the limit for the junior. And we mentioned this in the Tartan game. The longer that Pratt and Scalia play together,
Right.
I think the more fluid they'll become.
Right. Games like this, 2:41 left, 63-66 with South up. It's going to come down to discipline, coaching, court awareness, fundamentals.
And both teams with a foul to give. Morgan Hill kicks out. Benjamin goes to Kelly. A lot of hesitation moves, and it cost him.
Find your guard.
Stillwater in transition. Cody couldn't put it down.
Someone's got to step up.
2-on-1. Kelly with the finish. I don't know if you want Cody on the transition like that, and that's a 4-point swing. Big bucket for South. And again, with both teams having a foul to give, it goes back to what we were saying in situations like this. Willie Taylor said you've got two standouts in Pratt and Scalia. Everybody else can be a little iffier.
So do you tell them to open it up and let them play a two-man game offensively?
Well, it's tough to say because, who knows how, if Cody puts that in, then she's a genius, right? South calls timeout, 1:34 left. They have one remaining.
So I am a firm believer in knee pads. So when the ball hits the floor, so do you.
And you don't leave with any floor burns.
Yes. Sometimes a player will second guess hitting that floor when they don't have knee pads.
You've got those, right, DeMaio? Maybe you should take up football. So South has the arrow should there be a tie-up. They don't have to do anything per se. And Stillwater has a foul to give. When do you use it? You're down by 5, and you got to find a way to get the ball back here.
Well, whatever you do, you don't foul Morgan.
Well, you've got a foul to give before you send them to the line. So if you're going to foul Morgan, this would be the time to do it. Morgan to Benjamin. South, they're going to play keep away and let time elapse here on the clock.
That's a dangerous matchup there. She could have taken her.
And the longer this goes on, Kelly, no good, gets her own rebound, goes up. That's their dagger. That just might do it.
Yeah. The
Scalia
clock,
can't
you
get
guys
open.
got to move.
Tries to work off the screen, finds Pratt, and didn't recognize where she was. So South is going to hang on. South is going to hang on for their 10th straight win.
This is correct.
Unless something strange happens here, but
Got to watch that shooter. I'd like to see them not let them score again.
South fouling Arian Kelly. in spite of a season low, South 32 seconds away from picking up win number 10 on the year.
On the road against a tough Stillwater team with 6 players.
But in the end, it came down to execution.
Right.
As you saw, Stillwater coughed it up twice late, just looking out of sorts.
You know, we are the first day back from winter break. Be a little rusty.
Well, they did play Cambridge Iceni last week, so it wasn't like they had a lack of games. Sara Scalia scores, but it's not going to be enough.
And I think that would have worked for them earlier in the game, getting the ball up the floor.
Right, remember they had trouble penetrating that south zone and
Yeah.
settling for jump shots. It's great if it goes in, and in most cases it did, but really I think it came down to those couple of turnovers. You had Cody trying to go in transition.
Right.
I don't know if that's your first choice in such a scenario. And Morgan Hill. Well, this won't be a highlight game compared to what we've seen her do, but
Steady
wins a
and
win.
consistent, though. She's steady and consistent.
Well, and South didn't need her all that much tonight. And they had a foul to give, the Tigers did, so they'll use it here. So the Tigers, it was a close game throughout, but they're going to hang on again for their 10th straight win, and Stillwater coming oh so close again. Against Roseville, they were up by 11, couldn't hang on. Against Tartan, they made that a fight, but the Titans a little too speedy, and I think, like you said, against some of these faster teams, Tartan, South, the ponies just don't have enough speedsters in the lineup to keep up. Scalia, well, she's padding her numbers here, but there's not going to be enough time. And the Suburban East, Willie Taylor noted every game almost is a battle, but for Stillwater, it's a second game back with everybody in the lineup. What has to happen for them to turn this season around?
Being able to make adjustments quicker. You're playing a city team. They're pushing the ball, transition. You just got to leave it all on the court. It's one game. So there's enough players on that bench where they can rotate in and out, get some players in, play some solid defense, box out, go back to the fundamentals. If you're going to slow the game down, be crisp and solid. Way too many fumbles, and for the caliber of players that we have on the floor for Stillwater, I would have liked to see them handle the ball better.
And for South, getting out of here with a win. We'll see how things go with Minneapolis North. The Polars have given them a fight over the last couple of years. But there's a reasonable chance to believe that South could keep this winning streak up until they play Robbinsdale Cooper on the 15th.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a lot of fun.
I definitely think Stillwater has the potential to be a great team. They have all the pieces. Just going to need to fine-tune some things.
South runs out the clock and gets out of here with their 10th straight win, 73-67 the final. And we talk about, maybe the 2-minute offense, 2-minute drill in football. We got a basketball version of that tonight, and South won that battle. So Sara
Great basketball.
Great basketball and a couple of unsung heroes. The Solana Cushing. South had 4 players in double digits, and Stillwater, they got 23 out of Scalia, but just not quite enough tonight. But we'll come back and try to get a word with a couple of the South players before we wrap it up. You're watching high school girls basketball. Minneapolis South defeats Stillwater 73-67. this, but to most observers, if you said that Morgan Hill was only going to score 9 points in a game and you come out of here with a win, some folks might think you'd be crazy. What about you two?
I mean, anybody can have an off night, like not just Morgan. She puts up 30 every night. Like that's really hard to do. Obviously, that team knows that Morgan's one of the best players in the state. They're going to guard her really hard. But that gives opportunities to Jade and I, other people on the team, and we got to take advantage of that.
And speaking of opportunities, Jade, I forget how many right side layups you converted, but it just felt like you were on an endless cycle. You just found a layup and went on repeat.
Yeah, I was just trying to attack hard and like get the foul called on them. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Or is that just you trying to one up your sister after all those games of her scoring all those points?
A little both, because
So there is a little sibling rivalry. No.
yeah.
We tease, of course. But this was a closer game than a year ago, and Stillwater would not go away. Those last 2 minutes were pivotal. How did you hang tough in that critical stretch?
Just taking care of the ball. I don't know, trying to get to our ball handlers, not making dumb passes. I mean, we know we have timeouts. We know that it's better to get a 5-second call than throw it away. And I thought we played pretty smart in the last 2 minutes.
Making good decisions was like key, and like knowing like waiting to pass and not like forcing the shots and forcing passes was really good for us. And yeah.
And after a couple of games where you had some blowouts against Minneapolis City competition, although Chanhassen was close, what does it mean to get a couple of gritty wins like this before you take a week and a half off?
It's just a lot more fun. I don't know. I like playing hard. I like playing against good competition. So I look forward to nights like these more than blowouts that come a lot.
Yeah, I like playing better teams way better because it just gives me like a better. I don't even know what to say. Like it just like it's like you're playing harder, which makes you like turn you on more. It makes you want to go harder and like score more and stuff.
So Solana, you hit 5 3-pointers tonight. Coming in, Morgan and Sara Scalia were leading the state in 3-point field goals, and I think you reminded everyone that you can knock down some 3-pointers too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I shoot around 6 or so a game, and tonight I made a lot of them, and that's just the ways to go sometimes. Not thinking about it.
And Jade, are we just going to see you just drive to the basket the rest of the season, just keep going after layups like this?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to shoot more. Like my coach says I need to shoot more, so I'm gonna do a little both during this season. I'm like
shoot or layup, because layups are high percentage shots. So
layups more.
Yeah, take the higher percentage shot. But you bring up a good point though, because over the last couple of years, your coach mentioned how you would sometimes defer to folks like Solana or your older sister, and your coach is always getting at you about how you can be just as productive as they are. So how does a game like this, how do you take the initiative in a game like tonight?
I was just trying to do all I can to make sure that we're leading and like making good decisions and plays, and like I was just trying to like be the person. Since Morgan wasn't scoring, I was trying to score since she wasn't like scoring.
So are we going to get a sibling rivalry now the rest of the year? Are we going to see the two of you?
No, probably not. It's both of us together just trying to like feed each other and keep scoring, yeah.
Not if Solana has anything to say about it, right, with all those 3-pointers? No, and I'm not trying to wedge an issue here. We're just having a little fun because, it was great to see a lot of role players step up tonight in a game where we're thinking, the Hill sisters, Pratt, Scalia. And so you saw Kelly, Benjamin had a couple key shots. And before we go, a couple more things. What does it mean to get your 10th straight win?
Just gives us momentum and rhythm, like going into the section, thinking about section play and conference play. Like we really want to be winning every game, and wins like this help us prove that we can do that.
Yeah, it just boosts our confidence, and like what Solana said, it just gives more momentum to keep going, keep winning, and like playing how we've been playing.
You want to say hi to anybody?
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
You gave your.
I'm good.
I'm great.
These are two really unappreciative athletes after all the hard work. They don't like anybody. No, I'm kidding. I'm guessing most of your fans and your parents are here anyway. So, well, congratulations on the win. And on a serious note, it was a gritty one, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys give us a little more of that as the season moves along.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. Yeah, we will. Thanks.
So Solana, Cushing, and Jade Hill. That wraps up our coverage here from Stillwater. I'm Mike Peden for our entire crew. Thank you for watching.